This is Kalinda Truffaut, and today I am talking about what do your body and a computer have in common?
And your mind is like a memory card. It stores absolutely every moment of your life from the moment you start breathing until you take your last breath. Now, it holds a lot of space. Imagine 1,000 terabyte memory card recording absolutely every moment, everything that you're doing. The body is incredible. And it is able to protect us from viruses. We have an immune system that if something happens to us and we get sick, it memorizes how we got sick and it prevents us from getting sick like that in the future, usually, if it's something that is able to be remembered. Now, our emotions are the same. And so if we go through a situation or circumstances where our heart gets hurt, our bodies remember that. And it tries to protect us from making the same mistake twice. And when we go through life, we have 10% of our conscious minds that we're working with. That's the part of our minds that we're thinking with. There's 90% that we are feeling with. And that is where all of these memories are stored. It's in the 90%, not the 10%. So if you feel like you are facing a challenge and you've been trying to think it out, that's why it's not working. It's because in the 10% that you're thinking with, you don't really have access to the 90% that you're feeling with. And so we're going to go back to that terabyte memory card. On that memory card, there are folders and there's files. So the folders are the things that will say your 10% conscious mind remembers. The files are stored in those folders, and that's the 90% that you're feeling with. So now let's just pretend for a moment that you decide to go for a walk. And you're going for a walk through the park. Everything is beautiful. It's a beautiful day. You don't have a worry in the world. Life is grand. And all of a sudden, you're getting these weebie-jeebie feelings. And they make absolutely no sense. There could be something, anything. There could have been a car that passed. There could have been a type of tree. There could have been anything that triggered a memory from one of those files that's trying to keep you safe. And until you identify what it is that's triggering this, you will continue to feel that way until you get rid of it. I know I beat anxiety disorder naturally in 2012, and let me tell you, it took me a long time to find the memory that I was trying to find. So my memory dated back to when I was 8. And my brother, he was a boy, and he liked to do crazy things because he's a boy. Not that all boys do crazy things, but he was jumping off of a rabbit hut, and I was raking in the backyard. And I had the two-sided rake, and then I had to go to the bathroom. And I was 8. He was about 3 or 4. And I went into the house because I had to go to the bathroom. The next thing I know, there was screaming and hollering from everywhere. And my mom and dad were losing their minds. What had happened was my brother jumped off the rabbit hut onto the two-sided rake, head first, and there was blood everywhere. Now, when I was 8, I didn't understand that a head cut open creates a ton of blood. So I had an uncle staying with me at the time, and he was actually blind. So all of a sudden, he heard hollering and screaming, and my brother comes out, and his head is covered in blood, and I'm freaking out, thinking that I killed him because it looked like his head was chopped off. My mom and dad are scooching him to the hospital because there's no time to be wasting and explaining, and my uncle is left behind listening to an 8-year-old freak out, telling him that she killed her brother. And how do you feel when you think that you just killed your sibling. I thought I was going to jail. Everybody was hating me. The guilt, the shame, the grief, pick it. It was all in there. And it took me a while. I sobbed uncontrollably for hours. He came home with 5 stitches, but I didn't understand that not processing that was going to cause big problems with me for decades, 3 to be exact. And I kind of got to be an anxious kid after that, and nobody could figure out why, including me, until much, much later in life when I bought a house next door to my brother with a huge garden. I've got lots of rakes here. And that uncle that was staying with me, yeah, he ended up getting lung cancer in 2009. And because he was never married, him and I were inseparable. I ended up moving him into my house to take care of him. And I got to see him every day. I couldn't figure out for the life of me, why are my panic attacks so bad? My panic attacks were so bad because my body was remembering this 8-year-old event, and it was losing it because my uncle was actually getting treated at the hospital that my brother got stitches in. So I wasn't getting any kind of a break from this past memory that I had forgot about 3 decades before, because he came home with 5 stitches. Why would I even remember it? But it wasn't the fact that he got 5 stitches. It was all of that trauma that it was just at a premium for so long that a little 8-year-old just didn't get it. And the moment that I released all the emotions that tied to that memory, I felt a million times better.
Thank you so much for listening to this video. If you liked it, make sure to comment or like it, and so that I can get your feedback. That is super important to me. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get the next video that I am going to be posting, and don't forget the bell.